We're now going to move to our next virtual presentation. It's to be made by Senor Manuel Gonzalez, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Tourism Optimizer Platform. And here today to tell us all about this project and the Optimizer Platform is Manuel Gonzalez.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Do we have you there? Yes, we have you there with your presentation. Welcome, Manuel. We spoke briefly on the telephone last week, and welcome to your audience here at the ITIC WTM Investment Conference. Please make your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, Mr. Ministers, dear investors, professionals, and in short, colleagues. It is a pleasure. Thank you very much for your introduction, and it is a pleasure to be here today speaking about tourism and sharing ideas to try to do our best for this beautiful sector. First of all, I want to convey the apologies of our CEO, Mr. Diego Fuentes, that for scheduling problems wasn't able to attend today, but he asked me to come to talk to you about governmental travels. I know that many of you already know a lot about this subject, but I would like to ask for your attention only for 15 minutes because I want to introduce you something new, something radically new, I could say, which is GovERSys, Governmental Travel Ecosystem. Are you seeing my presentation now? Okay, perfect.
Please proceed.
Also, people who are not familiar with this kind of trips, which is governmental trips. But governmental trips and VIP trips are not the same, even if they seem very similar. Governmental travel, it is a very specific market niche. And it is a very specific market niche because of they have unique requirements and needs different from the rest due to the people who travel, basically. But not only, because, for example, when a government is travel, a site inspection is usually done in order to certify, in order to check important aspects. For example, the possibility of blocking elevators, the place for snippers to be located, where you can put the conference room or the press room, the floor plans of the hotels, how many cars could be parked at the entrance. And until now, when government delegation travel, it have to adapt to the market offer. Without seeing all its needs met. But in GovERSys, we think that it is necessary to have a professionalization of the suppliers and also standardize the offer in order to offer a highest quality services to delegations. Let me see. Voila. Just to give you an idea of the market figures, government and institutional travels generates around $12.4 billion per year. And it is true that $12.4 billion per year, it is a small percentage if we compare it with figures of the tourism sector in general. But in any case, $12.4 billion, it is a very profitable, very profitable figure for such a niche sector that is like governmental travel. One thing to keep in mind is that government travel has always existed and will always exist, even in the worst of times. For example, during the pandemic, our billing forecast for this sector, it is $10.1 billion. So it is a lower figure than during a normal year, but in any case, it's a very good billing for a catastrophic year. For the tourism sector. We have to take into account that GATT sector, it is participated by many agents. For example, travel units, agencies, destinations, companies, security company, transportation, hotels, but they are not quite professional about it. For example, when a government is traveling to another country, usually they call to their embassy or to their consulate to ask for information. And it is true that they are very, very, very good professional experts, actually, in diplomacy. But in most of cases, they are not experts organizing travels or supplying services. On this time of pandemic, it is the situation. It's much more complicated because there are so many companies that are not running services, and this is much more difficult for the embassies and consulates to travel the company who could serve the perfect product or the perfect service in a time. For example, 2 months ago, I could say 2 months ago, an African government called to us because they want to go to Madrid, and usually they used to host. They usually stay in the Villa Magna hotel, which is one of the most important in Madrid for government delegations. But the point is that the Villa Magna hotel was closed, so they didn't know anything or where they can go, and they called to us. But also with the transportation company was the same situation. So due to COVID, government needs much more information, not just only about which companies are running services, but also about security issues. I want to, I know that many of you already know the project, but I would like to give you a brief tool for the overseas background, because in the last month we have changed everything to a much more digital way. In 2014, our CEO, Diego Fuentes, Mr. Fuentes, he was working before during 15 years in a VIP travel agency, working with ministers, first ladies, presidents. And in 2015, he realized that governmental travels are quite different than VIP travels. And thanks to his experience, he could sign a memorandum of understanding with the UNWTO that allows him to investigate much more about the sector, to recognize him as the creator of the GATT, which is Governmental and Institutional Travel and Tourism, the GATT sector. He was recognized as the creator of this concept, and it allows as well to present the project to in the General Assembly of Medellin. At the same time, and for more than 2 years, we will carry out a deep research and a request of requirements in order to put all the information together, and thanks to big data and matching algorithm, we were able to extract a series of common protocols in more than 95% of the requirements, and put it all together in the first and only one standard that exists in the sector. We have to create the GATT standard, where you can find all the protocols. Just here in this standard, you can find all the protocols that you have to follow if you want to travel with governments, and how governments want that you travel for them. Later in 2018, we were attending to many events presenting the project. In 2019, we signed a university. We create an university chair at the University of Sevilla. And in 2020, it arrived a very important moment, because we signed an agreement with UNITAR, which means United Nations Institute for Training and Research. And thanks to this agreement, all the companies, all the destinations that are certificate, that obtain the certificate by Governsis, which is our company, they are certificate at the same time for UNITAR directly. So this is very important because of the recognition that they have, and because of the branding marketing. At this moment in 2020, we are ready. Everything, all the services are ready to sell. We want, and we are going to start in the commercialization. So, to sum up, what Governsis it is, maybe you are thinking, because it's quite complex. But Governsis is just the platform where we have put all the solutions that we have created together. So now you can find in just one platform, in just one free platform, all the solutions that we have created, specialized for governments and specialized for suppliers that wants to work with governments and who knows how to do it. Here you can find all the necessary things, all the necessary services. You can think maybe that we have competitors, but actually this is not, because for example, in Booking, TripAdvisor, or all the others, any others brokers, you can find, or you can book services, but you cannot find the very specific information that we have pulled in Governsis. When you go to Governsis, you will find the possibility of booking services as in other OTIs or agencies, but you can find there all the information that you need to organize the travel. For example, if you need to know how many cars you could park there, you are going to find it, or you are going to find the floor of plans of the hotel. So this is very useful and very convenient. That's why we said always that we win. Because after more than 5 years of experience, we know pretty well the sector, because we have developed the products. Specific for governments and specialized in JTT sector. We have put it all together in just one platform, which is Governsis, and where you can find all the information. That's why we said that it is the unique vertical platform specialized for governments. And also because we are solving a real demand that governments had before, we think that professionals could do their best to work with governments. So basically in Governsis, you will find a directory of selected suppliers for each destination. You will find there all the suppliers that you mandatory need to check if you are organizing a travel for a government. There will not be all the suppliers, but that one that you need to check all around the world, obviously. Secondly, we have, and they are all certificated because we have certificated them and we have trained them to work with governments. Second place, we have Governsis channel, which is a portal where you can find all the information, specialized and updated for the JTT sector. That means, for example, if you are attending to the World Travel Market, you will find there all the information for governments, interviews, tips, calendars. You will find everything updated and specialized, created for governments. Also, as I said before, Governsis is a digital platform, but we have a team of experts on the back office. If you need anything, we are already ready to help you to organize your trips. And if you are a supplier, we are today ready to help you to be ready to receive a government. On the fourth place, we will find a marketplace where you can find super special products, like, for example, insurance. We have created the first insurance specialized for governments because we know and we have understood the problems that government has. For example, when a minister is traveling, many of them, they need to change their agenda or they need flexible. There are so many changes at the last time. So we have created the special insurance assistant, but also cancellation insurance for governments. And we have done with the best market, which is Lloyd's in the city, as you well know. We have also security services company, a security company to help you when you are organizing your trips. And of course, training and certification as well that you can find on our marketplace. And on the last, but not on the least for sure, because I really love this one and I think that you will love it as well, is GovPay. You know that when a government is traveling, most of the time there are changes at the last time that you need to pay something. And the protocol that you have to follow, it is quite complex because you have to ask to create a dossier or something. And then you are going to pay it. But on the other side, it is the services provider who are not really happy that you are not paying on the first time. So we have created this solution to put the preference of both sides on one. We are going to pay the services as you want on the first moment, and then you could pay us in 30, 60, or 90 days. But on that way, you could hire all the services that you want, and the service provider could charge the money as soon as they want. For example, most of you know Davos for sure. As you know, in Davos, there are not so many suites. There are not so many presidential rooms. So first to arrive, first to pay, first to get the room. And this is a problem that we are going to solve it, thanks to GovAssist. So in conclusion, on GovAssist, you will find so many products, all of them specialized and done for governments. So training for providers, but also for your team, for example, for your embassies teams, if you are organizing travels, for the travel units, that it is very important. We have also online booking, which just services specialized created for governments. We have the certification programs for destinations, for suppliers, for cities. On the fourth place, we have the travel consultant. As I said before, we have the team of experts. We have the insurance. We have the assistant and cancellation, both very important because you could hire whatever you want, but the combination is perfect. We have financial services, which is GovPay. And then we have another products like private security, incoming services, translator, etc. So at the end, what we want to do it is to create a community because you know that governments are not. We know how many governments are all around the world, and we know where they are, and we know how they work because of our experience, and we know how can we reach them. So at the end, the critical mass of users is small and attainable. So. But we know also that there are providers who wants to travel, who wants to work with governments. And that is something that we are going to do. We are going to create a community. We are going to position in services providers, and we are going to position in destinations, because we want to put all together, professionalize the sector, and create a better, a much more sustainable sector, a much more professionalized sector, and a much more beautiful sector that at the end is the tourism sector. So finally, that's we want to do, professionalize and standardize, which is very important to achieve highest level of quality. Positioning destinations, which is very important to position them as host destinations to receive JTT government delegations. Imagine how much important is received at your country a government delegation. Imagine the visibility to the world that you are. Sorry, I'm listening to myself.
Oh, hello, Manuel. I'm sorry to cut in on your final words, but yeah. we have run out of time now for your presentation. No, but thank you so much. No, you've done a brilliant job.
Sorry, and thank you very much. Sorry for the time, but you know,
there's a lot to fit in.
This is a new sector, and we are ready to help governments and suppliers as well.
Absolutely.
And please, you have my contact. If anybody wants to get in touch, please feel free to talk.
Thank you so much. You've been
given
a very detailed presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.